I want you to think of your favorite Call of Duty game ever. Seriously, just take a second and think about it. What comes to your mind? I can guarantee that every single Call of Duty game was thought of, other than Advanced Warfare, because Call of Duty is one of the most popular gaming series ever created. But I truly believe that Call of Duty Black Ops 1 is the greatest Call of Duty game of all time. Not just because of the groundbreaking gameplay, but because of the way it captured the essence of what made the series iconic. In my opinion, it had the best story mode in the series, multiplayer that felt like it was built for everyone, and a zombies mode that set the standard for co-op gaming. No other game in the series managed to bring all these elements together so perfectly, making Black Ops 1 the game that still resonates with fans years later. The game's campaign introduced players to a complex and thrilling storyline, filled with espionage, conspiracy, and unexpected twists, making it one of the most memorable in the series. Characters like Alex Mason and Frank Woods became iconic, their stories woven into a fabric of the Cold War setting. Meanwhile, the multiplayer experience delivered on an array of well-designed maps, balanced weapons, and engaging modes that kept players hooked for countless hours. Additionally, Zombies mode in Black Ops 1 expanded on its predecessor's foundation, offering Easter eggs, deeper lore, and a co-op experience that became legendary among fans. To this day, Black Ops 1 remains a touchstone in the Call of Duty series, with its legacy evident in the games that followed. Its combination of a compelling campaign, addictive multiplayer, and groundbreaking zombies mode cemented its place as the greatest Call of Duty game of all time, a title it still holds to the hearts of many gamers, including me. But how did we get to this point in the first place? For that, we had to go back to the beginning. In May of 2009, rumors started swirling that Activision was looking into licensing Vietnam War era music, sparking speculation that the next Call of Duty game would be set during the time period. By November of that year, just days before Modern Warfare 2 hit the shelves, Activision confirmed a new Call of Duty title for 2010 during their third quarter financial call. Fast forward to February of 2010, and a casting call for what was known as Call of Duty 7 fueled rumors that the game would be set during the Cold War, with some battles taking place in South Vietnam. Then, on April 30th in 2010, the world officially met Call of Duty Black Ops. The game was built on an enhanced version of the engine used for World at War, which itself was an improvement from Call of Duty 4's engine. It ran at 60 frames per second across all platforms, except for the Wii, and featured new streaming texture technology, also seen in Modern Warfare 2, which allowed for larger and more detailed levels, like the one where the players pilot a helicopter in the mission Payback. Improved lighting effects and the introduction of 3D imaging on the PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360 versions added to the game's immersive experience. Treyarch, the studio behind Black Ops, went all in on this project, dedicating separate teams to each game mode and using cutting-edge, motion capture technology similar to what James Cameron used in Avatar, to capture actors' full performances, right down to the facial expression. They even brought in Special Forces veterans from both sides of the Cold War, like Major John Placer from the US Army, and former Soviet Special Forces operative Sony Puzikas, to lend authenticity to the game's tactics and character movements. Despite its historical setting, the game focused on secretive, classified operations during the Cold War, gave Treyarch the creative freedom to weave a fictional narrative into a historical backdrop. For players who wanted a less intense experience, Black Ops also included options to reduce blood and turn off profanity. But we ain't no bitches. The voice cast for Black Ops features some big names, including Sam Worthington as Alex Mason, Ed Harris as Jason Hudson, and Gary Oldman returning as Viktor Reznov from World at War. Other notable voices included Ice Cube as Joseph Bowman, who also served as a multiplayer announcer for the SOG faction. The game's soundtrack was just as impressive, featuring Vietnam War era hits like Symphony for the Devil by the Rolling Stones and Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival, as well as some modern tracks like Eminem's Won't Back Down, which played during the credits and appeared as an Easter egg in the Zombies Map 5. Treyarch even went as far as consulting with Rolling Stones to use their music, which saw a significant sales boost after the game's release. The original score, composed by Sean Murray, was released on November 9th, 2010, followed by a Zombies mode soundtrack in January of 2011. The marketing for Black Ops was as massive as the game itself. It all started when the official website went live on April 30th, 2010, accompanied by a teaser trailer. Activision kept the buzz alive with cryptic mailouts and codes sent to gaming publications, leading to a mysterious teaser site that left fans speculating. The first full-length trailer aired during the NBA Eastern Conference Finals on ESPN in May of 2010. And by E3 that year, Treyarch studio head Mark Lamia was on stage at the Microsoft conference showcasing the game. Throughout the rest of 2010, the hype machine rolled on with more trailers, exclusive reveals, and a limited edition Call of Duty Jeep Wrangler, all culminating in the game's release on November 9th, 2010, capping off one of the most memorable marketing campaigns in gaming history.
Ascension 7 15 1 2 19 7 25 6 13 6 7 15 14 0.
The Black Ops single-player campaign takes place between 1961 and 1968 during both the Cold War and the Vietnam War, 16 years to 23 years after the events of World at War. It portrays a secret history of black operations carried out behind enemy lines by the CIA. Missions take place in various countries around the globe, including Cuba, the Soviet Union, the United States, South Vietnam, Hong Kong, Canada, and Laos. The single-player campaign revolves around the CIA's attempts to stop Soviet sleeper agents embedded in the US, to be activated via broadcast from a number station, from deploying an experimental nerve agent and chemical weapon known as Nova 6. In April 1961, CIA operatives Alex Mason, Frank Woods, and Joseph Bowman participate in Operation 40 to assassinate Fidel Castro, and assist the CIA-sponsored Cuban exiles during the Bay of Pigs invasion. Mason kills who he thinks to be Castro and stays behind as he realizes that he killed a body double. He is captured by the real Castro, who gives him to a Soviet Army Major General named Nikita Dragovich. Mason befriends a former Red Army soldier named Viktor Reznov, who gives him identities of their enemies: Dragovich, Colonel Lev Kravchenko, and ex-Nazi scientist Frederick Steiner, and reveals his history with them. Were sent by Kravchenko and Dragovich as part of a covert Soviet operation to extract Steiner, who wished to defect from a secret Nazi base on Baffling Island. Upon being rescued, Steiner provided the Soviets with the location of a disabled cargo ship carrying the chemical weapon he had originally developed for Adolf Hitler called Nova 6. However, Reznov and his men were betrayed by Dragovich, who wished to see the effects of the gas firsthand. Reznov was forced to watch Petrenko die horrifically, only being spared himself when British commandos, interested in also acquiring Nova 6, attacked the cargo ship. Reznov detonated the V-2 rockets on board the ship during his escape to prevent anyone from using the weapon, destroying it and Nova 6, only to be captured by the Soviets and imprisoned in Vorkuta. The Soviets later recreated Nova 6 with the help of British scientist Daniel Clark. In October of 1963, Mason and Reznov spark an uprising to flee the prison. Reznov stays behind to facilitate Mason's escape. Upon his return to the US, President John F. Kennedy authorizes a mission to assassinate Dragovich. Mason, Woods, and Bowman are dispatched to the Baikonur Cosmodrome to disrupt the Soviet space program and eliminate members of Ascension, a Soviet program giving sanctuary to Nazi scientists. The team rescues fellow CIA operative Grigory Weaver, who infiltrated the facility but was compromised and tortured by Kravchenko. Afterwards, they destroy the Soyuz spacecraft, while Dragovich is seemingly killed in a car explosion after the vehicle is attacked by a BTR-40, commandeered by Woods. In January of 1968, Mason team is sent to Vietnam as part of the MACV SOG. After defending Khe Sanh from a North Vietnamese assault, they recover a dossier on Dragovich from a Russian defector, being held by the North Vietnamese army in Hue. The defector is revealed to be Reznov. When Dragovich resurfaces, the team infiltrates Laos to recover a Nova 6 shipment from a downed Soviet plane, but are captured by the Viet Cong and Spetsnaz forces at the crash site. Bowman is later executed during a forced game of Russian roulette, but Woods and Mason escape, hijacking a hind and crippling part of the Ho Chi Minh Trail before rescuing Reznov from Kravchenko's base. They confront Kravchenko, but he primes a grenade strapped to his body, forcing Woods to push himself and Kravchenko out of a window before the grenade explodes. Mason presumes the two are dead. Meanwhile, Jason's handler, Jason Hudson, and Weaver interrogate Clark in Kowloon Walid City, with Clark revealing the location of a city in Mount Yamantau before getting killed by Dragovich's men. Hudson and Weaver infiltrate and destroy the facility before receiving a transmission from Steiner, requesting to meet at Rebirth Island in the Aral Sea, as he expects Dragovich to kill him in order to cover up Nova 6. Mason, now going rogue, travels there with Reznov to assassinate Steiner, succeeding just as Hudson and Weaver arrive. It's revealed that although Mason supposedly witnessed Reznov executing Steiner, Hudson and Weaver saw Mason carrying out the act alone while calling himself Reznov. With Steiner dead, Mason is now the only individual left who knows the location of the number station, prompting Hudson and Weaver to interrogate him. Hudson explains that Dragovich has sleeper cells stationed in each American state capital, who, when ordered by the broadcast of a series of numbers from his station, will release Nova 6 and pave the way for a Soviet invasion. In response, the US is now at DEFCON 2. It is preparing for a preemptive nuclear strike on the Soviets. Hudson reveals that Mason was brainwashed by Dragovich at Vorkuta to serve as a sleeper agent and assassinate Kennedy, but Reznov intervened and reprogrammed him to kill Dragovich, Kravchenko, and Steiner as revenge for betraying him and killing Petrenko in 1945. Mason finally remembers the location of Dragovich's broadcast station. It's a Russian ship named Rosolka in the Gulf of Mexico. An assault on the ship is carried out the next day, with the US Navy calling in to destroy it. Mason and Hudson confront Dragovich in an underwater submarine base, protecting the ship, with Mason killing Dragovich before the two escape. At the end, footage of President Kennedy before his assassination on November 22, 1963, reveals that Mason watched him arrive at Dallas Love Field, suggesting Mason may have, in a twisted chain of events, actually killed John F. Kennedy. Remember, there were theories that there was a second shooter for the infamous assassination. I'm gonna say right now, this is the greatest campaign in any Call of Duty that I've ever played. The immediate shock that Reznov wasn't real when 10-year-old me played this for the first time was absolute cinema. And the replayability that the campaign has, that you can play it over and over and discover new things every single time that you didn't notice the first time, especially with the collectibles, is something that you do not see in another campaign. Some come close, like the Modern Warfares, but this is easily the best campaign in all of Call of Duty. Right at the end, you're confronted with John F. Kennedy, Robert McNamara, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro, all chatting after the war, when all of a sudden...
Oh my God!
It appears the Pentagon has been breached.
Zombies. Gentlemen, at times like these, our capacity to retaliate must be and has to be massive to deter all forms of aggression. Gentlemen, lock and load.
Viva la revolución!
Any last words, Mr. President?
Yes, Jack. Any superlative words of inspiration for our humble troops?
Do not pray for easy lives, my friends. Pray to be stronger men.
Call of Duty Black Ops introduces an intense lore-rich zombies mode that takes place across various time periods, mostly focusing on the final years of World War II and in the 1960s, laying the groundwork for what would become one of the most beloved and intricate narratives in gaming. In Black Ops 1, the zombies went from beyond just surviving waves of undead. It introduced a deeper, more complex story involving time travel, secret experiments, and a group of 4 characters. These characters became a central part to a larger story involving Group 935, a shadowy organization conducting bizarre experiments with Element 115, the substance that turns the dead into zombies. This game is also where we first meet Samantha Maxis, a young girl who becomes trapped in a terrifying situation with zombies, adding an emotional layer to the horror. The maps in Black Ops 1 like Kino de Troten, Ascension, and Moon aren't just battlegrounds, they're pieces of puzzles that reveal more about the dark secrets behind the outbreak of the twisted experiments of Group 935. This zombie storyline, to this day, is one of the greatest storylines in all of gaming. When it comes to Black Ops 1, it is literally the start of the most lore-rich storyline in all of gaming. There are 7-hour videos right now that if you look online and look at stuff that's called Call of Duty Zombies Storyline, it pops up with a 7-hour video explaining everything. It is such an in-depth experience, and it's crazy that it started on Black Ops 1 after it just being a little game mode at World at War. And the amount of lore that is in this game, that if I actually decided to do a deep dive on it, for me personally, it would be a 2-hour video. That's how confident I can get as much information out as possible. And it made it so different that no other Call of Duty franchise, whether that be Ghost, Modern Warfare, or any of the other Warfare games out there, it didn't match it at all, and it provided just another layer of just immense co-op. In my opinion, Call of Duty Zombies will go down as one of the greatest things to ever exist in gaming history. And that is by far one of the most cold takes I could say, because a lot of people would agree. And don't you get me started on the Call of Duty Zombies soundtrack, the OG one. If you know, you know. Elena Siegeman 115 was my entire childhood. If you are watching this video somehow, I want to thank you personally for creating one of the best rock songs in video game history, bar none. Seriously. One of the most iconic maps in this mode is when you finish the campaign, called 5. It shifts the spotlight to a different crew, this time a group of historical features. Characters like John F. Kennedy, Robert McNamara, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro. The map features multiple levels and rooms within the Pentagon, offering a variety of different strategies for players to navigate and survive. Throughout all of Zombies, there are also unique elements, like in here there's teleporters, and every level had a pack-a-punch machine that added an extra level of challenge and excitement to each gameplay. One of the standout features for 5 is the Pentagon Thief, a special enemy that appears every few rounds and steals players' weapons if they are not careful. This suit became one of the most annoying bosses ever, especially with the narrow hallways that were in the map, making it one of the harder maps to get a high round on. The map Call of the Dead takes the concept of celebrity cameos to a new level by featuring a cast of horror icons. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Robert Englund, Danny Trejo, and Michael Rooker, with George Romero as this boss that you couldn't get rid of. Even when you killed him, he would just automatically reappear. Call of the Dead is truly iconic in the world of Black Ops 1 Zombies. The frozen Siberian island and the star-studded cast brought a unique and unforgettable atmosphere to the gameplay. The map's introduction of new gameplay mechanics, like the zipline and the VR-11 weapon, which were fan favorites for a lot of people. When it comes to the addition of the powerful scavenger wonder weapon, it was a different take on the monkey grenades that you would throw to distract zombies, but it would actually cause more damage once the explosion happened. Players also enjoyed discovering the map's Easter eggs and hidden secrets, such as the musical Easter egg featuring the popular song Not Ready to Die by Avenged Sevenfold. These hidden gems added to the map's replay value and just kept fans coming back, as it was one of the best maps ever. And last but not least, we have Moon. Moon is one of the most iconic and memorable maps in Black Ops 1 Zombies and Zombies in general. Set on a mysterious and eerie moon base, the map offers a unique and futuristic setting that captivates players from the moment they step onto its lunar surface. It was also really funny that every time the astronauts spawned in, it was actually someone on your friends list that quote unquote turned into a zombie, and he would just be the biggest menace until you killed him. Navigating the moon base and dealing with the unpredictable environment, like zombies jumping 70 feet in the air like they're LeBron James, creates a sense of tension and excitement that kept players engaged and on their toes when it came out. One of the standout features of Moon is the introduction of the wave gun and the quantum entanglement device wonder weapons. These weapons were fan favorites for a while, and to my knowledge they really never got a rework, which I thought was a big crime. Moon is also known for its Easter eggs and hidden secrets, including the iconic Easter egg quest that challenges players to uncover all the mysteries of the map and unlock special rewards. These Easter eggs were actually the key to the overall story too, adding even more to the lore and more reason to do the Easter egg. In my opinion, 3 of the maps in Black Ops 1 Zombies are easily top 5 maps of all time. One being Kino because it's just so iconic, especially for Black Ops 1 Zombies being the first map that you hop into. Then you have Call of the Dead with the George Romero cameo that, to this day, is the most insane cameo ever. And then you had Moon, which it was so funny watching your friends go across the map going wee as they had low gravity. The multiplayer experience in Black Ops 1 is often praised as one of the best in the Call of Duty franchise. The game brought a lot of new features and innovations that made it stand out from its predecessors and really resonated with players. At first, the system can feel a bit overwhelming, especially if you're new to Call of Duty. But once you get the hang of the COD point system, it's actually pretty cool. As you level up, you earn 1,000 COD points, which you can spend on whatever you want. This lets you tailor your gameplay to fit your style. The catch is once you buy something, whether it's a weapon, a perk, or a kill streak, you can't undo it. So you better be sure if you really want that sniper rifle before you make that purchase. This shift changes the focus from the pure leveling experience that made Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer so enjoyable. The new Wager Mode matches were designed to emphasize the importance of COD points, and they're fun in their own way, but they don't quite match the excitement of the traditional leveling system. Just know that One in the Chamber and Gun Game are standouts and shape the wager scene for Black Ops 1. The former tests your patience and accuracy, while the latter takes you on a tour of 20 of the Black Ops weapons, with each kill earning you a new one. Classic modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination, and Headquarters are still available and great for leveling up. Once you hit level 50, Prestige mode offers extra challenges that make it worth your time. Personally, I would have liked the new features to complement the existing fun rather than overshadow it, but wager matches are clearly the focus here. The COD point system does enhance your customization in Black Ops. You can tweak your title, emblem, and even your clan tag for your weapon. You can also customize your color and design for your reticle, among other things. However, each of these customizations costs COD points, so you'll need to build up a decent stash before you really can start personalizing your character. To help you earn points, Treyarch introduced a contract system where you can invest a small number of points to complete specific objectives, with the potential to earn a nice payout. The maps in Call of Duty Black Ops were so good, because they were thoughtfully designed to cater to different playstyles and create a balanced, engaging experience. Each map had its own distinct personality and layout, offering something for everyone, whether you preferred sniping from a distance, running and gunning, or holding down a strategic position, aka camping. One of the key reasons the map stood out was their versatility. Take Nuketown for example. It's a small, chaotic map that's perfect for fast-paced, close-quarters combat, but it also has spots where you can snipe or hold down an area. Then there's Firing Range, which mixes long sight lines for snipers with tight corners for close combat, ensuring every type of player had a place to shine, and that's the reason these two maps were the peak maps of Black Ops 1. Another thing that made these maps great was how memorable they are. They weren't just places to fight, they had personality, whether it's the vibrant retro feel of Nuketown or the gritty military training atmosphere of Firing Range. Each map left a lasting impression. Players could instantly recognize them and remember key spots and strategies, which added to the overall experience. The map also had a great balance of flow and pacing. They were designed in a way that encouraged movement and action, with multiple routes and choke points that created intense firefights. You never felt stuck or forced into a particular playstyle. The maps allowed for flexibility, so you can adapt to how the match was going. These little touches made the match feel slightly different, even if you played the map 100 times before. The kill streaks in Call of Duty Black Ops were special because they were beyond just being powerful tools, they actually shaped how you played the game. You had to think carefully about which kill streaks to equip, balancing what worked best for you and what would help your team. For example, choosing a spy plane could give your team a big advantage by showing where the enemies were, while the chopper gunner could dominate the battlefield if you could stay alive long enough to earn it. What made Black Ops killstreaks stand out was the variety in the way they catered to different playstyles. Whether you wanted the explosive thrill of driving an RCXD into enemy lines or the tactical edge of calling in a Blackbird to reveal enemy positions, there was something for everyone. This variety kept the game fresh, as you could customize your loadout to suit how you wanted to play, making each match feel different every single time. There was also an element of risk and reward, especially with killstreaks like the care package. You never knew what you were going to get. Maybe it's something game-changing or just extra ammo. And 90% of the time, it was extra ammo. In the end, I loved the killstreaks in Black Ops because they were unique and actually thought of strategy, something that newer games really don't do in the multiplayer scene. And lastly, one of my favorite features was Theater Mode, which let you capture your multiplayer highlights, cut off embarrassing moments, and share the good stuff with your friends. Theater mode was an awesome addition, and the COD community made the most of it. The only downside was that you would have to upload your clips to callofduty.com instead of the more popular platform like YouTube or Facebook, where most people would see them. Whenever you see YouTubers talking about older games, they immediately go to nostalgia and why they think those games are good. But I'm genuinely saying here, I don't think we've seen a game peak as much as Call of Duty Black Ops. The campaign, for me, is top 3, debatably top 1 with how good the story mode was. Multiplayer was easily top 3 with how consistent and easy to play it was with its playability, rather than the stuff they do now, and the start of the in-depth lore of zombies. This is literally the perfect package for a Call of Duty game, and they haven't been able to replicate it since. They did really good with Black Ops 2 Zombies, and that's why I have some Black Ops 2 maps, especially Origins as my favorite Call of Duty map of all time. But that all started because of Black Ops, and clearly Black Ops is the greatest Call of Duty game to ever exist. What's your opinion on it? Please let me know down below. I really wanted to talk about Black Ops for a while, especially when I made my Call of Duty video. I was only able to slightly talk about Black Ops, but it was just, I had to go in depth, and I don't know how long this video is going to be. Dear Lord, there might be a lot of editing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth review of Black Ops and why I believe it is the greatest Call of Duty game of all time. And if you liked the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell for future notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.